The mansion didn't look like a house. It looked like a fortress made of glass and secrets. White marble floors, mirrored walls, and a silence that felt colder than the air conditioning humming through the walls. I had never been in a place like that before. The ceilings were high enough to make you feel small, and everything, smelled expensive. Even the air felt like it had a price tag. I stood at the edge of the entryway, clutching the worn strap of my bag, trying not to wrinkle the uniform they'd given me.
Simple. Gray.
Boring, but clean. I kept my head down even as I heard the sharp, distinct click of heels approaching from down the hallway. They echoed with precision, sharp, controlled, dominant. And then she appeared.
Tall.
Sculpted. Dressed in a silk cream blouse and tailored black pants that hugged her hips in a way that should have been illegal. Her dark hair was swept back into a sleek bun, her lipstick blood red and perfect. She didn't smile. She didn't offer a hand.
She just looked at me.
Looked through me. Like I was nothing more than part of the furniture she didn't like. "You're the new one," she said. Her voice was smooth, low, and commanding. I nodded. "Yes, ma'am." She raised an eyebrow. "Spare me the obedience. You'll refer to me as Miss Villari. Nothing else." Understood. She tilted her head like she was already bored. "You clean. You don't speak unless I ask. You leave when I tell you. And you don't touch anything I haven't given you permission to touch." "Yes, Miss Villari." Her gaze raked over me, slow and deliberate, and for a second, just one, I thought I saw something shift in her eyes. But it vanished as quickly as it came. "You'll start with the library. Don't move the books." And with that, she turned, leaving only the scent of her perfume in the air. Something dark, floral, dangerous. The library was a palace in itself. Floor-to-ceiling shelves, antique furniture, and more glass than wood. I worked slowly, carefully, trying to calm the nervous heat in my chest. I didn't know why she got under my skin like that. Maybe it was her voice. Maybe it was the way she looked at me like she already owned me. Maybe it was the way I wanted her to. I didn't see her again that day, but I felt her. Every room I entered, every corner I swept, her presence lingered. And that night, when I finally went home, I couldn't get her out of my head. Miss Villari. Cold. Beautiful. Untouchable. And I was just the girl who mopped her marble floors. Days passed. I followed her rules. I kept my head down. I did my job. But something changed. Her eyes lingered a little longer when she passed me in the hallway. Her voice softened, barely, but enough to notice. Once, I caught her watching me from the second-floor balcony as I cleaned the main hall below. Her arms crossed, her mouth tight, like she was trying to convince herself of something. One afternoon, I was polishing the brass railing at the bottom of the staircase when her voice cut through the silence. "What did you do before this?" I looked up quickly. She was at the top of the stairs, wine glass in hand, barefoot, her blouse slightly unbuttoned. I'd never seen her like that, looser, more human. "Before what?" I asked. "Before this job. You weren't always scrubbing other people's lives, were you?" "No, Miss Villari." "Then what?" I hesitated. "I was a dancer." Her brow lifted. "Ballet, contemporary, and freelance." "So, broke." I flushed. "Yes." She descended the stairs slowly, like a predator. "And now you work for me." "Yes." She stopped one step above me, close enough to touch. "Do you like it?" I swallowed. "It pays." Her eyes flicked to my mouth. "That's not an answer." "I don't hate it," I said carefully. "Do you hate me?" "Should I?" She smiled then, sharp and devastating. "I suppose that depends on how much you enjoy being looked down on." "Are you looking down on me? Aren't I always?" Her voice dropped. "From up here?" I didn't step back. I didn't look away. Then look closer. "I'm not as beneath you as you think." For a second, just a breath, something cracked in her. Her jaw tightened. Her eyes darkened. And then she turned, retreating without another word. That night I dreamed of her. And I hated how much I liked it. The next day, everything shifted. She called me into her office, something she'd never done. Told me to clean the windows while she worked. I did. But I could feel her watching me. The way her eyes followed the shape of my back, the way her breath changed when I bent to reach the lower frame. It was deliberate. All of it. She wanted to see what control tasted like. And I let her. Every glance. Every silence. Every slow, dangerous moment. But I didn't break. I didn't give her the reaction she wanted. I just kept doing my job, knowing she was unraveling, even if she didn't know it yet. On the 5th day, I walked into the library and found a book pulled halfway from the shelf. The exact thing she told me never to do. A test. I slid it back in place. That night, when I turned off the last light and walked toward the door, her voice came from the shadows. Do you always follow the rules? I froze. She stepped out from behind the curtain, barefoot again, robe tied loosely around her body, hair down. Her eyes locked on mine. Do you? She asked again. Only when they make sense, I said. She walked to me slowly. And what if they don't? Then I rewrite them. She stopped inches from me. Her hand lifted. She didn't touch. Just hovered. Tell me to stop, she whispered. I didn't. I couldn't. And when her fingers finally brushed my jaw, soft and reverent, I knew I had her. The millionaire who never bent for anyone and was about to fall to her knees for the girl who swept her floors. And I was going to let her. She didn't speak after her fingers brushed my jaw. She just stood there, motionless, like the contact shocked her. Like she hadn't meant to cross that line, but now couldn't take it back. Her breath hitched, not loud, not obvious, but I felt it.
Saw it.
A woman who owned everything, suddenly terrified of what one small act of desire meant. I didn't step back. I didn't speak. I let the moment breathe. I let her wonder what I would do. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time, I saw it. Not arrogance, not superiority, not detachment, but hunger.
Real. Raw.
And it terrified her. I shouldn't have done that, she said, pulling her hand back slowly, her voice hushed like it might shatter. Then why did you? I asked. She hesitated. Her throat moved. Because I forgot myself. Or because you saw me. She looked away. Don't be clever. I'm not, I said softly. I'm just not blind. She turned her back to me, retreating into the shadows of the library, but I followed. I wasn't chasing her. I was matching her pace. Her energy. Her heat. When I spoke again, it was quiet but firm. Tell me the truth, Miss Valari. Did you bring me here because I was the most qualified, or because you liked the way I looked in a uniform? She stopped moving.
Dead still.
Be careful. Why? I asked. Afraid you'll say something honest? She turned then, slowly, her eyes burning. You think this is a game? I think you want to play, I said. But you don't know how to lose. The tension snapped. She crossed the room in seconds and pushed me back against the bookshelf, not hard, not violent, just firm enough that I could feel the heat of her body pressing into mine. Her hand came up again, trembling now. She touched my cheek, my jaw, the curve of my neck. You don't know what you're doing to me, she whispered. Then tell me. You make me feel, she swallowed, like I'm not in control. You're not. That made her exhale.
Soft.
Tortured.
Turned on.
I've built my entire world to make people obey, she said. And you walk in here with cheap shoes and scraped knuckles and make me want to kneel. My chest tightened. My pulse was racing. I reached for her wrist, held it gently, then kneel. Her lips parted. Her eyes flicked to mine, wide, vulnerable, scared. You don't mean that. I think I do. She stepped back like my words burned her. You should go. Do you want me to? No, her voice cracked. But I need you to. I didn't argue. I walked past her slowly, brushing her arm as I moved. Her body shivered at the contact. At the doorway, I turned and said, You'll call for me tomorrow. Even if you don't plan to. You'll find something for me to do, just to see me again. You won't be able to help it. Her mouth opened.
Closed.
She didn't deny it. I left her standing there, shaking. And I knew, deep in my bones, that the woman who ruled empires was already unraveling for me. The next day was quiet. She didn't call. She didn't send instructions. I cleaned the usual spaces. Waited. Pretended not to notice the silence in my phone. But at 6:43 p.m., my name lit up on the house intercom. Come to my office.
Now.
Her voice was clipped.
Cold.
But I heard it. The edge, the heat, the need she couldn't hide. I walked in and found her behind her desk, standing, arms crossed, eyes unreadable. She looked tired.
Flushed.
Restless. You said I'd call, she said. And here you are. I'm not here for you, she snapped. The terrace doors are filthy. You missed them. Right, I said, stepping closer. Filthy. Don't. Her voice shook. Don't do that. Do what? Look at me like you know what I want. Don't you? She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for days. Do you know what this would cost me? What, exactly? Your reputation? Or your pride? Both. I took one more step. What about your loneliness? That hit.
Hard.
She blinked. Her throat moved. Her hand trembled again. You don't get to see that part of me. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you. Too late, I whispered. She reached for me before she could stop herself. Her fingers found the edge of my shirt, clinging, anchoring herself. One kiss, she breathed. One, and then I send you away. Then kiss me like it's the only one you'll get.
She did.
God, she did. Her lips were soft, but the pressure was desperate. Her hand fisted in my shirt, her body flush against mine, and the noise she made when I kissed her back wasn't elegant or restrained. It was broken.
Needy.
Real. The kind of sound that said she hadn't touched anyone like this in years. I kissed her until she couldn't think, until she was moaning into my mouth like her empire meant nothing if she couldn't have me. When she finally pulled back, her lipstick was smudged. Her pupils wide. You need to go, she gasped.
Now.
Before I do something I can't take back. I smirked. What if I want you to? Then I'll beg, she whispered. And I don't beg.
Not yet, I said.
But you will. I left her standing there, dazed and trembling. And as I walked down the hall, I didn't feel like the help. I felt like the one with the power. Because Miss Valari wasn't in control anymore. The next morning, I expected her to retreat behind the walls she'd built so carefully, expected her to pretend that kiss never happened, to go back to being untouchable, distant, ice in heels. But Miss Valari wasn't herself when I arrived. She was late. That had never happened before. I was folding towels in the laundry room when I heard the front door open. Hard. Rushed. Like she wasn't trying to control the sound. And then her voice. Low. Irritated. Off balance.
No.
Reschedule everything. I don't care. A pause. No, Alicia. I said reschedule. I don't care if it's the ambassador. Her heels echoed across the marble as she moved through the house. I didn't mean to be in her path, but when I stepped into the hall, she was already there, and she stopped so fast it looked like the air had hit her. Her eyes locked on me, and something flickered behind them, something she tried to hide but couldn't. You're early, she said. Her tone was cold, but her voice was softer than usual. You're late, I replied. That got a reaction, a twitch of her jaw, a hint of something wild at the edge of her control. She walked past me without another word, but her shoulder brushed mine. Deliberate. Electric. I kept moving, pretending not to look back, but I felt her gaze burn into my spine as I did. Every room I entered, I felt her again. Just like before, only now it was worse. Now there was history between us. Now we'd tasted each other, and neither of us could unknow that. Around midday, she called me into her office. The air was thick before I even opened the door. She was behind the desk, but she wasn't working. Her screen was dark. her posture tense. She didn't look up as I stepped inside. The terrace, she said. The windows. Again. They're already clean. Do them again. I crossed my arms. You want to watch me? Her eyes snapped up.
Sharp.
Dangerous.
Alive.
Excuse me? You heard me. You're crossing a line. No, I said. You crossed it first. She stood.
Slowly.
Her hands flat on the desk. You think because I kissed you, you didn't just kiss me, I interrupted. You needed to. She stared at me, silent, rigid, but she didn't deny it. So now what? I asked. We pretend it didn't happen? Or you keep ordering me around until you fall apart again? You think you understand me, she said. You don't. Then explain it to me. Tell me why you keep pulling me close and then pushing me away. Because you make me feel weak, she hissed. Because when I look at you, I forget who I'm supposed to be. Then maybe it's time you stop pretending to be someone you're not. I can't.
Why?
Because women like me don't fall for girls like you. Her voice cracked on the last word. Don't say that like it's true, I said. You're already falling. Silence. Her eyes shone. Her hand trembled at her side. I stepped closer. Just one step. You want me, Miss Valari? Stop calling me that, she breathed. Then tell me your name. She hesitated, then whispered, Natalia. It hit harder than I expected. The sound of her real name, the surrender in it, the person under the armor finally showing herself. Okay, I said softly. Hi, Natalia. She blinked hard. Her voice broke. I don't know how to do this. Do what? Want someone like this. Need someone like this. Let someone see me like this. Then let me be the first. Her hand reached for mine.
Shaky. Scared.
I let her take it. I can't be soft, she whispered. I'm not asking you to be. Then what are you asking? To be real. With me. Just once. Her other hand came to my face, cupping it. Her breath was shallow. Her lips trembling. You'll ruin me, she said. I think you want me to, I whispered. Only if you ruin me back. The kiss came slower this time.
Deeper.
Not just hunger, but need. She pushed me back against the bookshelf again, her favorite place to lose control, and this time, she didn't stop. Her hands were in my hair, on my waist, gripping me like she couldn't stand the space between us. I kissed her until she moaned against my mouth, until her polished exterior cracked completely. She pulled away only to whisper, I dream about you.
Do you know that?
Tell me what you see. Your mouth. Your hands. The way you looked at me the first day, like I wasn't untouchable. Because you never were. Her knees buckled. She gripped me tighter. I caught her, and she laughed.
Soft. Dark.
Vulnerable. I hate this. You don't. I don't, she admitted. I want you to stay. Just for today? No, she whispered. Forever. I pressed my forehead to hers. Then get on your knees and ask. She gasped. I can't. Not yet, I said. But you will. And in her silence, in her breath, in the way she gripped my shirt like she was drowning, I already had my answer. The silence after I whispered those words wrapped around us like smoke. She didn't move, didn't breathe. Her hands clung to the front of my shirt like letting go would collapse her entire world. Miss Valari, Natalia, stood frozen in front of me, eyes wide and dark with something she didn't know how to name.
Need. Fear.
Obsession. Maybe all three. Say it again, she said, her voice barely audible. Get on your knees, I repeated, slower this time. Her lashes fluttered. Her breath hitched. She let go of my shirt and stepped back, but not to run. To surrender. And I saw it, the shift. The quake in her pride. The beautiful, aching hesitation of a woman who had never been powerless a day in her life, about to give it all up for me. She knelt. Slowly. Like each inch downward pulled a piece of her pride with it. Her knees touched the marble floor in front of me. Her head tilted upward. Her eyes never left mine. And in that moment, I forgot how to breathe. Because she wasn't just kneeling. She was giving me everything. You have no idea what this means, she whispered. Then tell me. I've never done this. Not for anyone. Not like this. Not willingly. I stepped closer. Her hands hovered at her sides, like she didn't know if she was allowed to touch me. You don't belong on the floor, I said quietly. But God, you look beautiful there. Her mouth parted. Her gaze dropped to my waist. Her fingers twitched. Touch me, I whispered.
Please.
She exhaled like it broke something inside her. Then her hands moved.
Shaky.
Careful. Reverent. She touched my thighs first, sliding up slowly, like she was terrified of doing it wrong. But I didn't flinch. I didn't stop her. I let her worship. You're shaking, I murmured. Because you undo me, she said. Because I don't know how to want someone this much without losing myself. Then lose yourself in me. Her lips pressed to my stomach through my shirt. Just once. A kiss that felt more like a vow than anything I'd ever known. Say it, I whispered. Say what this is. I need you, she breathed. I want to belong to you. Her voice trembled. Say it louder. I want to belong to you. I cupped her jaw, tilted her face up toward mine. Then show me. And she did.
God, she did.
That night, I didn't leave.
She didn't ask me to.
I followed her to the master bedroom, a place I'd never been allowed to see before. The door clicked shut behind us like a secret sealing itself. Her walls were down. Her body was open. Her eyes said everything her mouth hadn't dared to speak. We didn't rush. We didn't speak for long stretches. Just touches. Just slow, careful reverence. She stripped for me, not like someone trying to seduce, but like someone finally setting herself free. And when I undressed too, her breath hitched again. You're perfect, she whispered. And you're mine tonight, I said. She didn't ask for control.
She didn't try to take it.
She let go.
Completely.
Her hands trembled when I touched her. Her moans were soft, desperate, like every part of her had been starved and was finally being fed. And when she came, shaking under me, hands clutching the sheets, mouth whispering my name like it was holy, I knew nothing between us would ever be the same again. After, she lay against my chest, quiet. Her fingers traced lazy circles on my skin. I don't want this to end, she said. Then don't let it. I've spent my life in control, she murmured. In command. But with you, she looked up. I don't want to be powerful. I just want to feel. I kissed her forehead. Then feel. I've got you. What are we? She asked. Right now. You're mine, I said. And I'm yours. Her lips brushed my collarbone.
Good.
Because I don't think I'll ever let you go. And from the way she clung to me in the dark, I believed her. The morning after didn't feel like shame. It felt like hunger. Like we'd barely scratched the surface of something too big, too hot, too consuming to name. She woke up tangled in me, her fingers still brushing my waist like she hadn't moved all night. Her cheek was pressed to my collarbone. I could feel her breath, her heartbeat. And for a few beautiful seconds, she was just Natalia, not Miss Valari, not the woman who owned half the city, just mine. But the second the alarm on her phone buzzed softly from the nightstand, everything shifted. She stirred, pulled away too fast, sat up like the air had suddenly gone cold. What time is it? She whispered, voice hoarse. Almost 8, I said. She rubbed her face, then stood, wrapping the robe around her like armor. You should go. I thought you didn't want this to end. I don't, she said, already moving toward the bathroom. But people come and go here in the mornings. Staff. Security. I can't risk it. I stayed in her bed for a second longer, just watching her move. The tension in her shoulders. The way she didn't look at me as she disappeared behind the bathroom door. I dressed slowly, every piece of clothing feeling heavier than it had the night before. And when I opened the door to slip out, she called after me, quietly.
Tonight, she said.
Same time. I didn't respond. I just nodded once and left. The rest of the day, I worked like nothing had happened. Clean like I hadn't heard her beg against my mouth 12 hours ago. avoided her halls, her eyes, her scent.
But she wasn't avoiding me.
I caught her watching me from the second-floor balcony again while I wiped down the mirrored walls of the great room. This time, she didn't hide. She stood in full view, arms crossed, lips parted, pupils wide, like she couldn't stop drinking me in. I kept my movements slow, deliberate. I knew what I was doing. She knew it too. Around noon, I was cleaning the formal sitting room when I heard footsteps. Her heels.
Sharp.
Controlled. But they paused at the door.
She didn't speak.
Just stood in the frame, watching, waiting. I turned slowly. "Miss Villari," I said, voice calm, playful. She swallowed. "I need the windows cleaned in the West Gallery." "Again?" I asked. "They were just done." "Then do them again." Her voice was tight, brittle, and when I walked past her, her hand brushed mine. Too fast to see.
Too soft to explain.
But enough to leave a trail of heat from my wrist to my spine. That night, when everyone was gone, I found her in the library. She was already barefoot.
Hair down.
A glass of red wine untouched on the desk.
She didn't speak when I walked in. Just looked at me.
The kind of look that says I haven't stopped thinking about you all day, and it's driving me insane. "Did you miss me?" I asked. Her eyes didn't move from mine. "I wanted to call you into my office 4 times. "Why didn't you?" "Because I like my life in order." "And you," she stood slowly, walking toward me. "You're chaos wrapped in skin." I smiled. "And you want to drown in it." Her hands found my hips. "Every time I close my eyes, I see your mouth. And when you open them, I see everything I can't have." That made me pause. Can't have. Not in the world I live in. "Then maybe it's time you live in a new one." She laughed softly. Bitter. "You think it's that simple?" "No," I said. "But I think you're tired of pretending you don't want this." Her forehead pressed to mine. Her breath was shaky. "I am." "Then stop pretending." She kissed me.
Hard. Desperate.
And I let her fall into me again. Her hands pulled me close. Her mouth moved like she needed it to breathe. But when I pulled her robe loose and felt her gasp against my skin, she froze. Just for a second. "Someone could see," she whispered. "Then let them," I said. "Let them see what it looks like when a woman like you finally lets go." She didn't answer. She just moaned and pulled me down to the rug with her. We didn't make love like we did the first night. We devoured each other. She was fire.
Wild.
Open. Unhinged. Whispering my name again and again as her body arched, trembled, surrendered. And afterward, when she lay tangled in my arms, her voice broke again. "You can't tell anyone about this." I stiffened. "About us."
About me, she said.
"About what I'm like when I'm with you." "Ashamed?" Asked quietly. "Terrified," she whispered. "But not of you. Of me. Of what you do to me." I cupped her face, made her look at me. "You're not weak with me." "Then what am I?" "You're free." She leaned in, like she was going to say something else. Something final. But instead, she just kissed me again, slow, trembling, and held me like the words were too big for her throat. And maybe they were. Maybe she wanted to say "I love you," but didn't know how.
Not yet.
But I felt it. In every silence. In every stolen glance. In every breathless whisper of my name. She was falling. And she wasn't ready. But that didn't matter anymore. Because I'd already caught her. The morning after was brutal. Not because of regret, but because of the distance. Because I woke up alone again. Sheets cold beside me. Her scent fading too fast. I found my clothes folded on the chaise at the foot of her bed.
Her robe gone.
No note. No word. Just silence. Like the night before had been erased by the daylight. But I knew better. I could still feel her breath on my skin. Still hear the sound she made when she came, whispering my name like a secret she didn't want the world to have. I dressed slowly, my jaw tight. She wanted control again. Distance. Order. And I wasn't going to chase her through it. When I walked into the main hall, everything looked the same.
Clean. Still.
like no one had come undone on the floor of the library less than 12 hours ago. I made my way to the breakfast room. Staff were already moving around, silent and quick. But I felt her before I saw her. At the head of the table, hair up, glasses on, tablet in one hand, coffee in the other, untouched. She looked up when I walked past the doorway, just for a second. Her eyes flicked to mine. And everything stopped. No one else noticed. But I saw the way her breath caught. The way her fingers tightened around the tablet. The way her lips parted just slightly, like her body remembered me even if her mind wanted to forget. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. But I knew she was still watching. Every time I passed through the room, she was there. Saying nothing. But watching. Burning. Around noon, I was in the West Gallery, wiping down the railings when I heard her heels behind me.
She didn't speak.
Didn't move. Just stood in the doorway and watched. I slowed my movements, giving her the show I knew she wanted but wouldn't ask for. Bent slightly over the railing, knowing exactly what that angle did to her. I felt her silence stretch, grow thick, dangerous. When I finally turned, her face was carefully neutral. Too careful. Need something, Miss Valari? I asked, voice low. Her eyes flinched at the name. No, she said. Just checking the gallery. Everything's in order. I can see that. I stepped closer.
Slow.
Deliberate. You sure? Yes. Her voice cracked. Because you look like you haven't slept. She looked down. Go back to work. Yes, ma'am. And I walked past her, brushing her arm with mine. Just the lightest touch. But she gasped, barely audible, as if my fingers had burned her skin. That night, I didn't go to her. I didn't wait. I didn't call. I wanted her to come to me this time. I wanted her to feel the ache, to lose her composure first.
And she did.
At 10:32 p.m., the door to the servants' wing opened without a knock. She stepped inside, still in heels, still in that tailored black dress. But her eyes, God, her eyes, they were wrecked. Lock the door, she said. I did. She crossed the room in 3 steps and kissed me like she hadn't tasted air in days. Her hands on my neck, my waist, my back, frantic,
desperate.
I told myself I wouldn't, she gasped. Told myself I'd stay away. But you didn't. Because I can't. I pushed her back against the door, kissed down her neck. Say it. I need you. Say it louder. I need you, she moaned. More than anything. And when I pulled her dress down, kissed every inch of her skin, felt her body tremble under mine again, I knew. She was addicted, and she didn't want a cure. We stayed in my room that night. She didn't leave, didn't run. She curled into my side after like she belonged there, like she'd earned it. This is real, isn't it? She whispered in the dark. You tell me. It feels real. She kissed my shoulder. It feels like something I'm going to ruin. Then let me ruin with you. She laughed softly. Bitter. I'm not used to being the one who breaks. You don't have to be anything with me, I said. Not powerful. Not untouchable. Just honest. She went quiet. Someone saw us. My chest tightened.
Who?
I don't know. But I got a message this afternoon. Anonymous. Just said, sleeping with the help? Bold. My stomach dropped. And what did you do? Deleted it. That's it. What else can I do? If this gets out, you'll what? Lose your name? Your power? Everything, she said. But you'd still have me. Would I? Her voice was too soft. If the world knew about this, would you still want me? I kissed her. Hard.
Deep.
Final. Don't ask me if I'd stay. Just tell me when you're ready to stop hiding. And she didn't answer. But she pulled me tighter into her arms like she couldn't bear the thought of letting me go. And maybe she didn't have the words yet. But her body had already said it all. The first time it felt real was when she didn't show up. I was waiting for her in the library like I had for the last 4 nights. Quiet. After hours, lights dimmed, the scent of her perfume still clinging to the furniture where we'd lost ourselves again and again. But that night, she didn't come. The hours dragged. Midnight passed. Then 1. Then 2. I didn't sleep. I didn't cry. I just lay on my back in the dark, staring at the ceiling, wondering which was worse, that she was gone or that I'd let myself believe she wouldn't leave me like this. In the morning, the house felt colder. Staff moved like ghosts. Everyone was quieter. Too quiet. I overheard whispers. Did you see her face this morning? She canceled the board meeting. They say she threatened to fire 3 people before lunch. I didn't ask questions, but I knew she was spiraling, and I wasn't allowed near her while she did it. That afternoon, while I was sweeping the marble near the entryway, she walked through. Not alone. 2 men in sharp suits.
Business partners, maybe.
Investors. Her heels were perfect. Her dress flawless. Her face a mask of elegance. And then her eyes found me. 1 second. 1 glance. And everything stopped. Her breath caught. Her step stuttered. Just enough for me to see it. Just enough to know she felt it too. I turned away. Finished my work. Pretended I didn't feel her gaze burning down my back like a brand. 10 minutes later, she passed the hall again. This time alone. And when I looked up, she was standing there, just staring. Come with me, she said. Cold, sharp, commanding, but not angry.
Desperate.
I followed.
We didn't speak.
Not until she pulled me into her private study and locked the door. They're watching me, she said. They're talking. Because of us. Because of me, she snapped. Because I let you in. Because I touched you. Because I lost control. You didn't lose it, I said. You gave it. And I don't know how to take it back. Maybe you don't want to. She turned away. Her voice dropped. I do. I have to. Then why did you ask me to follow you? Her silence said everything. I stepped closer. Why do you keep calling me in here? Why do you look at me like you're starving? Why does your voice tremble every time I touch your skin? She turned fast. Because you ruined me. No, I said. You ruined yourself. The second you let yourself feel something real. Her breath caught. I saw the tears form. Not fall. Just burn. She came to me in 2 steps and kissed me like the truth was a fire she didn't know how to survive. Her mouth was frantic. Her hands on my face, my shoulders, my hips. I can't keep doing this, she breathed. Then stop hiding, I said. Tell the truth. I'll lose everything. Not everything. Then what will I have left? Me, I whispered. And she kissed me again, slower this time, like that word was too precious to break. When she pulled back, her eyes were glassy. There's a party tonight. At the gallery. All eyes will be on me. If I show even a flicker of what you feel, they'll tear me apart. Then let them try, I said. But do it holding my hand. She didn't answer. Just leaned her forehead against mine. We didn't say goodbye. We never did. But when I showed up that night, assigned to serve champagne to a room full of millionaires and liars, I found her across the crowd. In black silk, diamond earrings, red lips, and heartbreak in her eyes. I kept my distance, moved quietly, smiled when necessary. And then, as I crossed behind her, tray in hand, her fingers brushed mine. Just once. Just enough. I paused. Heart pounding. She didn't turn. Didn't look. But in a room full of cameras and power, she touched me like I was the only thing real. After that, I saw it in everything. The way her eyes followed me. The way she avoided everyone else's touch. The way her chest rose too fast when I walked by. And then, right before the speeches began, she stepped into the hallway alone. I followed her. My chest tight. My hands cold. She was breathing hard when I found her in the corner. I can't do this, she said. Then don't make a speech, I teased. Not the party, she whispered. The pretending. So don't. They'll ask questions. Let them. They'll know. I want them to. And I kissed her. There. In the middle of a corridor where anyone could walk past. I kissed her because she looked like she needed to be kissed or she'd collapse. I kissed her because I didn't care who saw. I kissed her because she was mine and I wanted the whole world to know. She pulled back, trembling. You're dangerous. So are you. What do I do now? She asked. Tell the truth, I whispered. Or live a lie. She swallowed hard. Come back to my room tonight. Will you let me stay in your bed this time? Not just my bed, she said. My life. And in her voice, I heard it. The truth. The beginning of the end. Or, maybe, the beginning of us. We didn't speak after the kiss. Not with words. Just glances. Just breaths. Just the silence that screamed louder than anything we could have said. When I left the corridor that night, my hands were still shaking. My lips still burning. My heart split between two truths, that she had finally touched me in front of the world, and that the world was already starting to respond. The next morning, everything changed. Staff were quiet. Phones were louder. She canceled 3 meetings before noon. And when I passed her office, the door was closed, blinds drawn, voice raised on the other side. It's a rumor, she snapped. There's no confirmation. No statement. No proof. A pause. Then make sure it stays that way. I kept walking. Pretended not to hear. Pretended I didn't feel the shift in the air, that the house, once untouchable, was now cracking beneath the weight of a secret no longer hidden. I didn't see her again that day. Not during lunch. Not at dinner. Not after hours. I lay awake in my room, staring at the ceiling, wondering if the silence was guilt or fear. At 2:13 a.m., my door opened. Soft. Slow. Her silhouette stood in the frame, barefoot, wearing only a silk robe, eyes glassy like she hadn't slept at all. I needed to see you, she whispered. I sat up. I thought you weren't speaking to me. I thought if I did, I'd say something I couldn't take back. She stepped inside, closed the door, locked it. They know, she said. They don't have proof, but they know. And they're going to come for me. My board. My partners. The press. Everyone. Because you kissed me? Because I made you visible. I stood slowly. So what now? She crossed the room. I don't know. Then maybe we stop. Her breath caught. Don't say that. If you're going to pretend I'm not real, then maybe I shouldn't be. You are real, she said, her voice breaking. You're the only real thing in my life. I looked at her. Then say that to them. I can't. Then don't say it to me anymore either. She flinched like I'd slapped her. Please don't leave, she said. Not tonight. Why not? Because I won't sleep if you do. You don't sleep anyway. But I breathe when you're near, she whispered. And right now, I feel like I'm drowning. I stepped forward, touched her face. Her skin was warm. Her eyes were pleading. Tell me what you're afraid of. Everything, she said. But mostly feeling something I can't control. Too late for that. She let out a broken laugh. I know. Then stop pretending. If I do, she whispered, you'll see all of me. Good. No, she said, shaking her head. Not good. It's messy. It's possessive. It's desperate. I cupped her cheek. Then give me all of it. You'll run. Try me. She kissed me. Hard. Deep. Terrified. And then she dropped her robe. Let it fall like the last layer of her pride. We didn't speak again. Not with words. Only hands. Mouths. Breaths. She pulled me into her. Clung to me like I was the only anchor she had left. And I held her like she was the only reason I hadn't drowned in this place. After, we lay tangled in the sheets. Her face buried in my neck. Her fingers still gripping my hip. They're going to demand answers, she said. And what are you going to say? She went quiet. Her mouth opened, then closed. Natalia, I said softly. Look at me. She did. Slowly. Broken. Beautiful. What are you going to say? Her throat moved. Her lips trembled. That eye, she stopped. Swallowed hard. That you what? Her eyes filled. She blinked fast. I can't say it yet. I touched her face. Then let me. I kissed her slowly. Carefully. Like love. I'm yours, I said. Even if you can't say it. Even if the world turns against us. Even if I'm only yours in the dark for now. She nodded. A tear slid down her cheek. But not forever, I added. Because I won't let you keep me in silence forever. I know, she whispered. And I don't want to. Then prove it. Tomorrow, she said. At the meeting, I'll speak. And if they ask, she took my hand, pressed it to her heart. Then I'll tell the truth, even if it breaks me. I kissed her again. I'll be waiting. And as she drifted into sleep, her body wrapped around mine, I knew something had shifted. Not just in her, but in us. Because tomorrow, for the first time, she would stop hiding. And maybe, just maybe, she'd finally start choosing me. She didn't speak much that morning. Not when she dressed, not when she checked her calendar, not when she sat silently across from me sipping the same untouched coffee she always did. But her hands trembled. Slightly. Barely noticeable to anyone else. Not to me. I watched her in that crisp navy suit, her lips perfectly painted, hair pulled back so tight it made her cheekbones sharp enough to cut. She looked powerful, untouchable, but I knew better. I knew that under all that, she was shaking. The meeting was scheduled for 11. Her board, her investors, her partners, everyone whose opinion she was trained to care about, everyone whose judgment she'd spent a lifetime outmaneuvering. But today wasn't about numbers, or markets, or acquisitions. It was about a choice. One she'd been running from since the first time her hands touched my skin and her breath caught like she'd just remembered how to feel. You don't have to do this, I said softly. She looked up. Her eyes were calm, but not cold. I do. Even if they don't accept it? Especially then. And if it ruins everything, then maybe everything needed to be ruined. She stood, took one last sip of coffee, set the cup down with more care than I expected, and whispered, "Wait for me." I nodded. Always. She walked out of the room, heels sharp against the marble, and I stood there, staring at the empty space she'd left behind, wondering if she'd come back the same, or at all. The boardroom was on the top floor. All glass, all power, all eyes. I knew I didn't belong in that space, but I couldn't help myself. I took the private elevator up 20 minutes after the meeting started. Just to be close. Just to feel the weight of what she was doing. I stayed in the hallway, pacing slowly, heart racing. Then I heard it. Her voice. Clear. Unshaken. "I know there have been rumors," she said. Whispers. Emails. Screenshots passed behind hands. And I could deny it. I could play the game, bury the truth, pretend I'm still the version of myself you've all come to depend on. A pause. A breath. The sound of something changing in her chest. But I won't. Silence. Because for once, I'm not interested in control. I'm interested in honesty. I'm interested in her. I froze. My breath caught. "Yes," she continued. "There's someone. Yes, she works in this house. Yes, she's younger. Yes, she's different from anyone I've ever allowed close." Another pause. This one heavier. "And yes, I'm in love with her." The hallway spun. I clutched the edge of the wall, trying to breathe. She didn't ask for this. She didn't manipulate me. She didn't climb her way here. I fell. She caught me. And if that costs me your approval, your money, your faith in my leadership, then so be it. But I won't lie about her. Not to you. Not to myself. Not anymore. I didn't realize I was crying until the elevator chimed behind me. I wiped my face and turned just as the glass doors to the boardroom opened. She stepped out. Alone. Her jaw was set, her eyes fierce. But when she saw me, her entire body softened. "You said it," I whispered. "Every word," she replied. "Are you okay?" "I don't know," she said. "But I'm free." I rushed to her, threw my arms around her. She held me tight, right there in front of the glass, in front of anyone who might have still been looking. "What happens now?" I asked. She pulled back, looked at me like I was her beginning and end. "Now," she said. "Now I take you upstairs, and I make you understand exactly what I meant when I said I was in love with you." "Say it again." I'm in love with you. Say it like you mean it. I love you, she whispered against my lips. And I don't care who hears it anymore. I kissed her.
Deep, bold, certain.
And for the first time, she kissed me back like she finally believed she deserved it. The hours after her confession moved like honey, slow, sweet, impossible to forget. The house was quiet, but not in that hollow way it used to be. It was calm now, like something had finally exhaled, like all the breath she'd been holding, the lies, the weight, the silence, had finally been released. And now, all that was left was her. The real her, Natalia. No suits, no heels, no mask, just a woman with trembling fingers and a heart that beat too fast every time she looked at me. We didn't go back to her bedroom that night. She didn't want the usual, the safe, the known. She took me somewhere I'd never been, a room hidden behind a second study, one no one else had the key to. It wasn't cold or corporate. It was full of soft things. Books with worn spines, a fireplace that still smelled like old wood and ash, and a single armchair where she used to sit, apparently, when she needed to remember who she really was. I haven't brought anyone here before, she said, locking the door behind her. This is the part of the house no one sees. Then maybe it's the part one belong in, I said. She turned to me. No, she whispered. You don't belong in the shadows. Not anymore. She crossed the room and stood in front of me. And then she knelt. Again. No hesitation this time. No fear. Just her knees sinking to the carpet and her hands finding mine, her eyes looking up like I was something sacred. I used to think power was about who followed your rules, she said. But I was wrong. Power is about who you'd break those rules for. And I'd break all of them for you. My throat tightened. My chest ached. You already did. Then let me break one more. She reached into her pocket, pulled out something small. A ring. Simple. Silver. A single stone. Not flashy, not heavy. Just honest. I know we haven't talked about this, she said. I know it's fast. And I know this world still doesn't want us to exist in it. But I don't care. Because when you walked into my life, I thought you were beneath me. Now I know I was never standing above anything real until I knelt at your feet. My hands trembled as she took one and slid the ring onto my finger. Marry me, she whispered. Not for show. Not for the world. But for us. For the nights we held our breath, and the mornings we almost let go. For every time I kissed you in secret. And for every time from now on that I won't have to. Tears blurred my vision. My chest was burning with every word she didn't have to say, because I felt it all in the way she looked at me. I dropped to my knees with her, took her face in my hands. Yes, I breathed. God, yes. She kissed me. No hesitation. No fear. No walls. Just mouth to mouth, breath to breath, 1,000 promises pressed between us. When we undressed each other that night, it wasn't about lust. It wasn't even about the need to claim. It was about presence, about proof. Her hands worshipped my skin like she was learning me all over again. My body moved against hers like home. And when she whispered, I love you, into the space between my ribs and my heart, I whispered it back like I'd been born to say it only to her. We made love on the rug, in the firelight, in silence, in gasps, in tears. And afterward, she wrapped herself around me like I was the only thing keeping her alive. You're everything, she said, even when I tried to pretend you weren't. You're free now, I whispered. You chose it. No, she said, pulling me closer. I chose you, and I'll keep choosing you every single day from now on. We didn't sleep much that night. We didn't need to. We'd spent so long hiding in the dark that now, in the quiet glow of love without fear, all we wanted was to stay awake and watch each other breathe. And as the first light of morning spilled through the window, she pressed her forehead to mine and said the words I never thought I'd hear from her lips. You saved me, she whispered, from myself. No, I said, brushing her cheek. You saved you. I just refused to let you do it alone. And with her arms around me, Her love poured into every part of me that had ever doubted. I finally believed it. The empire didn't matter. The money didn't matter. What mattered was the way she looked at me, the way she'd fallen, the way she'd stayed. On her knees. Not because she had to, but because love had made her brave enough to. Thank you so much for your support, whether it's by liking, commenting, sharing, or sending your super thanks. You make all the difference here on the channel. See you in the next video.